we've been sounding the drum, for a while. Now's the time to jump on the bandwagon. So if you haven't already, jump on now while they're bad. And then, but the vibes are good. Let's talk the Sharks.
I just need this season to start, man. I'm
Sharks
excited.
made some moves. Here we go. The Sharks extended William Eklund. He got a 3-year, $5.6 million per year contract. They signed John Klingberg to a 1-year, $4 million deal. The Sharks traded Thomas Bordeleau for Shane Bowers. That's basically a depth at the Barracuda level move. Thomas Bordeleau kind of fell out of favor with the Sharks coaching staff, I think, a little bit. He didn't really get much playing time with the Sharks. He spent most of his time with the Barracuda this past season. So they basically gave they put the they tendered him so that way they could kind of control and get a piece back for him, really is what happened. And that's what happened here. So it sounded like the New Jersey Devils had a similar situation with Shane Bowers. So, they just kind of did a like for like, send, forward for forward, little fresh, fresh new life, whatever we're trying to say here. What else did they do? The Sharks signed Dmitry Orlov to a 2-year, $6.5 million per year contract. And then they also claimed defenseman Nick Leddy off waivers. He has 1 year left on his contract. So the Sharks are now officially above the salary cap floor. So we don't have to worry about that. They're spending enough money. So that's good. A couple of other moves that have happened across the league that we didn't cover before. Brent Burns is going to Colorado on a 1-year deal.
Boo.
Yeah. Mikael Granlund to Anaheim on a 3-year, $7 million per year deal. And Corey Perry going to the Kings for a 1-year, $3.5 million deal.
That's a Corey Perry move.
Yeah. Corey Perry. Well, if you're a Kings fan, maybe you like that move because he's been in the finals, 5 of the last 6 years. Maybe you don't like that move because he's lost it every time. I don't know. If you're a Kings fan, Daniel, you out there, bud? Let us know what you think of the move.
Daniel, you're catching stray bullets.
I guess that's basically that's all we got for hockey.
I heard that the Sharks are kind of have a plethora of defensive players, so there might be a potential of them moving on.
Yeah, they're kind of. There's about 11 guys right now in their defensive core, and probably room for only about 9 or so. Like if you include the guys that are like NHL ready but can be at the AHL level, bouncing back and forth. Guys like Sam Dickinson, especially if Dickinson is ready to go.
I do want to see
things real interesting.
I do want to see Sam with the Barracudas this year. I would like to, if I can catch a game just to see him, just see what we're working with here,
That being said, if he's ready to roll now, I don't want to stop him from being up here. Like, if he's ready to roll, man, like there's no time like the present to like let him learn. Like he's gonna learn so much more at the NHL level. Even if he's getting beat up here, I'd almost rather, as long as he's not losing his confidence, let him get beat up here at the NHL level instead of losing in at the AHL level.
All this,
learning. I don't know.
Mike Grier did an interview the other day and said basically like if any of the young guys are ready to take a job, they're not going to prevent them from taking a job. They're not going to prevent them from starting or getting onto the roster. But already like people are already saying like Sam Dickinson as a defenseman is probably the best defensive skater they have in the organization. So just by having him out there, like as a skater, being able to like do what he does is like an upgrade to the team. So you really, hopefully he is ready to take this forward, because then like one of these veteran guys, there's talk of trading one of those defensemen like, Mario Ferraro. He's been kind of like the major guy that's been talked about as being traded.
He's got a pretty big contract. He's I don't know what his trade value is specifically, but like he's a pretty, I would think on a playoff type team, he'd be a fairly valuable depth defenseman, like probably like a good third pair defenseman kind of guy to have.
Absolutely. So hopefully, we're going to find out a lot more about the Sharks in the coming weeks. I definitely think there's going to be a trade of some kind, because I think they want to bring in another, what I was reading, they want to bring in another forward. So,
a middle six type guy, I think, probably. Yeah. If they can get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. I think if this team could be somewhere around the 500 mark, that's kind of where I'm at, is like give or take a game or two. Being like, you gotta be around 500 plus or minus, 5 games. If you're 500 or above, that's like you're way ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Right.
But you got to be close to a 500 team. And I think with like with Askarov maybe starting, more games and hopefully being healthy. I think we forgot, they made a trade for another goaltender.
They did. Yeah. Another goalie,
from the Penguins,
which it sounds like that's a project, more than the other ones, but, he was a Calder Cup winner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, he's been around for a little while. I think he's like under 30, but he's more of a veteran guy. But I think the goaltenders are going to be a huge improvement from what we saw last year. I mean, that was some of the worst goaltending. like there was games where I'm like, put me in. I can't be any worse. So some stuff was pretty bad.
Alex Nedeljkovic. God, that's hard to say. Sorry, kid. I'll learn it eventually.
So I think just those two guys is going to be a huge upgrade. And, I just want them to be competitive around the 500 mark, see growth from the young guys, see some of last year's draft picks starting to, step up and contribute. And then it's next year where you're like, okay, let's really get some big time free agents in here. Let's figure out what's going on. But I think, William Eklund is going to take a step forward. Will Smith is going to take a step forward. And I think Macklin Celebrini, you're going to see huge exponential growth now that he has a full year under his belt. And I know there's a little bit of a concern about Misa. Is he going to, stay back in the league that he's in, or go to college, or try to go pro right away? I think you're hoping he could go pro right away, because you want them goals.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's going to go the college route, but I think you and I briefly talked about it. He's going to wipe the floor with these kids, and no offense to if your kid is going to go play Boston College, but this kid's he's an NHL ready player. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's going to be beneficial for him. I think I'd rather see him be in the Sharks system and learn and develop there. I just think in the college he's going to be so good that it's not going to do him any good, in all honesty.
No, I think he has to. I mean, probably is a little too strong, but ideally he's with the Sharks and he's learning how to play with Celebrini and Will Smith and Eklund and Dickinson and all those guys now, because that's like the core. That's the core group.
Yeah. I'm excited for the season as well. And we've been sounding the drum, for a while. Now's the time to jump on the bandwagon. So if you haven't already, jump on now while they're bad. And then, but the vibes are good. The team's bad. The vibes are good. That's kind of been the motto, right? And as like you said, 500 is aspirational. If they get there, awesome. I wouldn't quite expect that. I would expect them to probably be maybe like as long as they're if they're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs until mid-March, you know, if there's still a month left in the season and they're still, you know, hovering around, like, you know, within 10 points of the playoff line, then that's, I think, probably a success, and that shows a lot of improvement, right? So so that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see improvement. We already saw them from 2 seasons ago to last season. Not as many blowouts. There were some, but you know, they didn't get their asses kicked nearly as often.
Right.
So that was good, you know, and they were just a lot more fun to watch, even though they were losing, you know. So that's what we want to see. Now we want to see them turn some of those L's into W's, right? If everything goes perfectly according to plan, like goes better than according to plan, and they do somehow sneak into the playoffs, I am not going to be upset. Nobody is going to be disappointed. And then everybody gets to see what the tank looks like during playoff time. Everybody gets a little reminder of what it used to be like, you know, before the pandemic. Because I think people have forgotten what San Jose can do when we got a winner here, you know, and be a good reminder. So those days are coming. If they come this season, great. If they don't come this season, they are coming soon, because we can see it, you know. We see the plan and it's starting to come together. So I'm really excited.